here, and I'm really delighted to have one of my guys. He is a genius, and he has a lot of exploit he has done in way back in his education. I'm really blown away by how genius he is. You know, the people we bring here on this podcast are not usual people. So we have Sonko Julian Paul, and he will really introduce and expound more on what he does. So Julian, good to have you, man.
Good to be here, bro. Thank you.
I'm so delighted. You know how many times we have tried, and you know things have gone but finally the good thing we are here.
Yeah, we thank God.
Yeah, so
Thank God.
you will introduce yourself the best way.
Yeah, I can take that one. So yeah, that was already mentioned. My name is Sonko Julian Paul. I've been introduced as a genius, and I hate to admit that I may have one of few good exploits in the world of tech, a couple in the world of academia as well. Yeah, I'm a good student for the love of tech and for the love of education. And yeah, I'm here to answer a few questions Solomon has for me about how the world is going, leading to this era of AI, and how tech is evolving into the upcoming technologies that people have been developing now and then.
So how did you really get this? I'll start with that question. How did you get inspired, and how did you start?
Well, I grew up around my older brothers, so a lot of the time they were doing tech-related things, be it fixing a broken PS2 or fixing just a controller. But I think I just had the love from when I was young. When I was young, the very first time I touched a computer, I was P2. My mom had a PC there. I downloaded the game and played on it. I was so happy to just touch it and be with it. But I didn't really start doing actual tech things until I was in high school, around Form 2. I started learning how to code. But still on a very low end. I feel like it was just an incremental step towards the tech journey that I'm still on. I feel like I'm still going upwards, and there's still more for me to learn and do. But yeah, my goal is to definitely keep improving and be better. So as I was growing up, I learned how to program, how to use the computer for more advanced things, and that's when I realized that I probably want to do computer science at university, and ended up doing that.
When did you exactly start?
So I'll just say I started 2017. Starting to code was an eye-opener for me on how things work. It was very simple at the time, just simple web pages, not really programming, but just doing that alone was, enough to put some love into you. You love what you're doing, you keep going back. You love what you're doing, you keep going back. Yeah.
Wow. So in Form 4 you got 8, right?
I had 10 in 8.
10 in 8.
Yeah.
Wow. And in Form 6 I don't know the primarily the PLE. Yeah, for those, we have the PLE, we have the UCE, then UACE. So the PLE you got?
Well, PLE was not very good for me. I got 9. 9.
Then
9 overall.
It's not. Yeah.
Then I looked in. I looked in and got the 10.
Then 10. Then
we went over and got
19
at A level. Yeah.
Wow. What is the secret of really that? What is the secret of that exceptional academic performance?
Well, I can't really give any secrets that come from me, because I struggle to understand sometimes how I do some things. That's not going to say that I'm very special, but I may be good at what I do. But someone told me something that stuck with me when I was in Form 6. It was an old boy of SMARC while we were at school. He came and talked to us. He's called Bernard Mukasa. Council Bernard Mukasa is a lawyer. Yeah, so he came and told us that life is 50% luck. Then the rest of the 50% is what you put in, the preparation, the determination, all those other things that you put in. If you're not lucky, you can still do all that work and not get a load. It happens. But then some people get lucky that maybe they are lucky in terms of being gifted. Some people are gifted. Some people get lucky, you read and things come the way they came. Or you get lucky and you actually choose things you're really good at and you thrive in that sector. So I'll say it's down to the luck and the remaining 50% with the preparation, the resilience, because I have some of those traits.
Oh wow! So it's not that you this kind of person who read too much, who was so much in books, who hid himself and denied himself parties, and you're in books.
No. I found that approach hard to keep up with, mostly because I eventually start to get bored if I spend a lot of time reading. If I like what I'm reading, I'll mostly spend most of my time reading that. But as I grew up, when I was younger, I used to read a lot more than I do right now. But as I grew up, I found more efficient strategies to reading that require me not to read a lot, but I can still gather enough content for an exam. Yeah, so I can't say that I read a lot. I can't say that I used to deny myself a lot, but I never gave up first of all. So even when things were not looking good, according to me at least, because I could get 10 points and someone has 3 and they're like, man, I wish I had those 10. But me with 10, I'm looking at the people with 17 and I'm like, I wish I had those 17. So but I still wouldn't give up. I try this, refuse this, I devise another strategy, get new means and continue. Yeah.
What are some of the proudest achievements that you ever acquired in I'll generally in life, like some of the the proudest achievements you have?
Well, in academia, my things aren't standout genius marks, but they're very good marks, of course. And yeah, in my family, everyone was proud of the marks that I got because you don't see them every day. The school will boast, we had 4 people 20 this year, we had 4 people 16 in 19 this year, depending on the year, of course. But to be among those 16, to be among those 4 people that 10, the top 95% of the class, it's not easy. Exactly. So yeah, that's one of my achievements. At least every time I try, I manage to achieve that upper percentile. Then another one of the things that I'll note down and say I really fought for was in Form 6 when we had to go for a competition. It was a school's ICT clubs competition. Now we didn't know what was there, we didn't know the prizes, we didn't know what it was about, but they told us we had to think of something and innovate. I won't take credit for the idea. The people who came up with the idea and its basis are there. What I'll take credit for is implementation. We implemented it as a group of 3. The architect of the idea, someone who was building the front end because it was a website, a web app, a simple one. Then I was doing the back end mostly because I was not as good as him in front end, but I could do both. Either way, I could play both sides of the pitch.
So let me take this opportunity to invite St. Mary's College Kisubi to come and make their presentation, showcase their innovations. As they come, it's important to note that St. Mary's College Kisubi emerged the best in the central region.
I chose the back end because, I was stronger there. So we went for the regional competitions. They were at Mook in Sedat. We won those. I think it was
when was that? Had you joined university?
No, it was actually in high school. It was in high school. It was in Form 6, about 3 weeks before mocks. It was one of the most stressful periods of my life actually, because I was part-timing being a student and part-timing being a back-end developer for a project whose benefit I didn't even know. We were just doing this thing for the competition to go and represent the school because I didn't want to fail.
Today, St. Mary's College Kisubi is going to present to you a project titled School I, and the innovators are Master Egero Brighton, who is standing right beside me, Master Sonko Julian Paul, who is controlling the presentation, and then I myself speaking to you is Mutumba Nicholas Kadu.
What was it all about?
It was a simple system to track syllabus coverage for schools. We had intended it for the ministry. The domain of the projects that they asked for was projects that could help solve problems in Uganda in general. So it was open. So most people thought about different agriculture, but we sent it into schools, and the person who came up with the idea meant it to be for the ministry. So the ministry can leverage I'll call it the software we built to maintain a record of the syllabus coverage in different schools and find out how far they've covered, and then relay this information to UNEB such that it can be used in setting those exams, because UNEB has a problem. It never knows how far schools have studied. and it always causes this disparity between the top-notch schools and the central, the country schools. Yes. Yeah, so that was the problem we looked at. Of course, those are the domains we could think of because we were in school. That's all we knew. But it was a good idea regardless because it did win the regionals for the originality. It was new and it was well executed. Then I put in an extra 2-week shift. It was suffering, but yeah, an extra 2-week shift to make it even better for the national competitions. And yeah, we won the national competitions as well. There's a footage of it online on YouTube. There's articles about it. I'll provide all that context to you later. Yeah, but then we did manage to take the first prize home. We managed to impress a lot of people, but I really didn't like the fact that the project died out after that. I was excited.
Yeah, because that is a very powerful project, and they would have funded it to really see that it is executed.
Yeah, we tried pushing for the funding, but I'll never stop trying. It's still there. I can always rebuild it when I need to, but the original idea is still there. It's always at the back of my mind. It's the first thing that I ever built that people actually liked. Before it was just me learning and building an e-commerce website and building a blog website to learn the ropes, front end, back end, how to do those things when I was still learning web development. But that was the very first time I built something complex that people actually liked. So I was very proud of that moment.
Okay, so how can you integrate faith and tech?
Faith and tech. Well, I can say half the time when you're writing, well, I code a lot. So half the time when you're writing code and you don't know whether it's going to work or not, you'll spend 3 hours looking at the same line, looking for where the error is. You don't know what's going on. At some point, just have faith in yourself. You're like, I won't sleep until this thing is done. Actually, just recently, I had such a moment. I was fixing some code that me and my groupmate were working on for an app we're building, and things weren't working out. I couldn't understand why. Of course, I tried AI, but AI at some points didn't understand the problem as well. I even let it review the code, nothing. So I kept trying different things. You know, time kept shifting. I have to wake up for lectures the next day. I have programs to come for, but the faith in me was telling me we're not sleeping until this error is done. We've solved maybe bigger errors before, we've beaten bigger deadlines before. So I'm not going to let something as trivial as a mobile app just stop me from sleeping or living my life. So yeah, incorporating faith in tech is believing in yourself first of all, believing that someone out there has solved your issue. So of course you keep googling it, you keep looking for resources, and also believing that you can do it. Because if you just give up and sleep, you're going to wake up the next morning with less context about how to solve the error. But of course it's good to take a break and come back with fresh ideas. And even going back, that's enough to show you that you need some faith to really achieve great things.
Exactly. Wow. So tech, what do you see the status quo of technology and the coming up of AI, which is really getting so much viral? So how can you predict the future of tech in the existence of AI?
Well, tech is at an interesting point because I've been following a lot of science stories, not just even centered around AI. Almost any innovation that comes up, I'll want to find out what it's about. Some are less exciting than others. Now, of course, for the past 5 years, even when people didn't know about AI has still been the most promising field, the most exciting field, the most researched field for those 5 years. Not as heavily researched as some fields, but it's the most popular field right now for someone to join, for someone to do. And tech is at this point where a lot of innovations are coming up, but we don't know which one will be the next big thing. We are sure about tech, of course, and we know for a fact tech is the golden boy for AI is the golden boy for tech at the moment. It's up there with maybe when microprocessors came out back in the 1980s, that era of computing. So it's really up there. Now one thing, the direction I feel like I'll be excited to see tech going into is with the emergence of quantum computers. It's been causing a couple of ripples here and there, but we don't really understand it yet. I speak for the general public, not the highly technical people. I understand a little bit about how they work, but then I'm always making research. So Of course I do. But you know how AI is really powerful. With the more powerful computers get, the more powerful it also gets. I think quantum computing is on the verge of computing at a level we've never seen before, doing all sorts of scary things, and I mean real scary. Like, if it comes out and it's as good as people fear it's going to be, then it's going to cause very major rifts. Now I'm just waiting for the point when those fields merge together and we have, say, a quantum computer running an actual artificial intelligence model and running it so efficiently that we have either reached AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is a fully sentient artificial being. It not only knows it's a language model, it has an identity. It knows who it is. It can look itself in the mirror every day and choose to be something different the next day. But that's where I think also gets scary. But as far as where we are right now, there are speculations about it. Could come in the next 5 years, could come in the next 2, could come next month. No one really knows, but the trajectory AI has been taking is it goes upwards, it will plateau for a little bit. There are times when almost nothing new is coming up. Then someone will drop very groundbreaking innovations in AI, and all of a sudden all the big industry players are catching up to it as well.
Exactly.
So a lot of people are left behind because they don't innovate as much. A lot of people gain from innovating very quickly. We've seen this with the recent stock price issues with Nvidia when DeepSeek R1 came out. And ChatGPT was up there, it was pushing those numbers. Grok AI was on the budget, it was looking at ChatGPT's door. Then DeepSeek comes out of nowhere. It's very cheap, it's crunching all the numbers Chat can crunch, and it's Chinese, so it's not all being controlled by one country. And that even cause a lot of panic. It just shows you how volatile the AI world can be. At some point we have complete peace, then tomorrow someone has developed an AI that can grow up like a normal human being and even learn through experience without being programmed. Who knows? So yeah, it's a very volatile field.
Wow. So how can someone who is really doing tech, and not only even in tech, in various fields, leverage the opportunities that are being brought up by the AI tools? So how can we really utilize these opportunities before even getting to look at the other side, people being scared of we're going to lose our jobs? So how can we leverage those opportunities?
Well, AI poses the opportunity for us to be more productive. That's the very first thing. The biggest value proposition for AI is that you can be 10 times more productive than you normally are, should you choose to use it. It's always a choice. In programming, you can choose not to use AI. Your code will work the same as someone who just ran AI. The difference is you spend 5 minutes thinking about what to write and 10 actually writing it and making it work. Someone else will spend 2 minutes telling AI what to do, 3 minutes putting that code that AI generated there, and then another 5 minutes testing it and making sure it aligns with what he wanted it to do. And then in other fields it can push astronomical things, of course. Yeah, look in the field of medicine, people have been promising AI models to detect shape of protein molecules. Yeah, that research has been going on for a long while, and there's been a couple of breakthroughs at the moment, and that allows us to create new types of medicines. A lot of vaccines have been coming out as well. I could guess they are a direct beneficiary of those discoveries in AI and health, and a lot of other fields have been using AI a lot to be more productive. The issue is productivity. Then there's also issues of originality, but we'll get to that, of course. But AI really helps you get more productive. Video games use it a lot in rendering. In the health field, I just talked about the whole the models that they've been making to be able to predict a shape of a protein. Yeah, that's something that has been so hard to do. I watched a recent video. The channel is called Veritasium. It's a very nice science channel. So yeah, they talk about how that research has been going along since the 1950s. People have been trying to predict the shape of a protein molecule, but there are so many mathematical iterations and permutations that one molecule can take. Any shift or bend in the structure, it's a different molecule. It's no longer the same amino acid you are looking at. But knowing which structure, or being able to predict the structure of a certain molecule, helps scientists understand how medicine works, how a lot of things in the body work. I really don't know much about medicine, so I can't really talk about the good things it has done, but I didn't want to be too tech-centric in this section of the AI talk, because people have been leveraging AI to create better models for that. Now they can actually predict those shapes with about 95% accuracy, which is a very, very big deal. I got all these from that video. And yeah, it helps people push to different limits. It helps people do things they didn't think were going to be done, at least in the next 20 to 30 years.
Wow, that is people who are really scared about AI, and you shouldn't, but you should really privilege these opportunities to be productive. Can you tell me one of the time? This is a bit, at the time that you saw God's presence in your tech career.
Well, there are a couple of times that I really feel like, yeah, God is coming through for me in the tech career. First thing I'll mention is, when I'm learning, it's possible to go and learn things, but then it's very hard to learn things and then also find out that they are going to be so useful to you time and again and again. So, when I was starting out, 2017, I learned very simple things. It was HTML, CSS, just simple web pages, that one is fine. But then in lockdown, my brother was telling me, what to do, what to learn, because I had the ability to learn. I was bored and I had a PC. So he was like, okay, sure, go and learn C, go and learn Python. I love those two languages because they're the very first two I ever did. Especially Python, because I'm literally wearing a PyCon shirt.
Oh, yeah, PyCon, eh?
I love those guys. So yeah, I've been writing it for a very long time now. Where I see God's intervention is that, I learned it, I spent a lot of time practicing it, just blindly out of pure love and adventure. Just want to do things with my time.
You couldn't see this.
I couldn't see into the future.
Yeah.
But, I ended up using Python when we won that competition in high school. I pulled off things that people really didn't think high school people could pull off. And I wasn't alone, of course. My friend really, really knew what I was doing in the front end that time. But for me, that was God showing me that, yeah, you've done it, you've prayed for it, you can do it. Then again, later in my course, Python has been so very helpful. I really love the language. But even in the selection of the course, I could have gone anywhere else, but I wanted to be in computers. At a certain point, it was all I could think of. Before, I was thinking a lot of things. Maybe I could do something in chemistry because I studied that. I could do something with my physics. A lot of engineering courses are there and they exist. But I just kept loving computers more and more as time went on. So I feel like God was always just pushing me in a certain direction. There was a plan for me here, a plan for me there. And I can say I'm happy doing the course, using the language, doing things in it, and of course learning other things. You can't be a one-trick pony. But I'll say it's my primary thing. So yeah, God has really, his intervention has been very, very pivotal for me to do the thing that I've done. And I feel like there's even bigger things to come that he is still watching over me for.
Wow. On that very point, whom do you look up to and what do you really see yourself accomplishing in this tech, impacting lives of people with this tech that you're taking up?
Yeah, okay. So in terms of role models, at a very early stage when I had not very many people programming around me, my role model was my cousin. He was programming in, I think, it's a language called VB.NET. I don't really want to go into the details of that. So many technical things going on. But I'd see him on his PC every day and looked like he was enjoying what he was doing. And I wanted to be one of those nerds you see on TV who can just hack a random server in 2 seconds, and he's in. So that's why I kept asking him what to do, where should I start and all that. So he set me on that journey as my very first role model. But of course, growing up in the world of tech, you keep seeing people who have done more and more amazing things. In Uganda alone, we have a lot of very good programmers. A lot of people who I look at and I'm like, yeah, another role model I mentioned is a friend of mine who I studied with in O-level. We separated. I went to SMAC, he stayed at Kitovu. But he's a very good software developer and he started very early. In fact, I used to see the thing he's doing and I said, no, I can do this myself. I can actually do the thing he's doing. He just started earlier than me.
Oh.
So
now, where is he in this field of tech?
Oh, he's a very, very big man where he works. Yeah, he works at accolades. It's a cloud computing company that I was about to say hosted there, but that's Sorry, they work there. Yeah, and he also studies there, does information systems and technology. Very, very inspirational man for a software developer. He does a lot of complicated things. He's good. Every time I see the things he's doing, I say that people who look up to me, do they know that I look up to this man? Like, he's up there for me. Then of course there's the other people that you could look up to, the people, the legends and all that. But I want to talk about our Ugandan programmers because we have a very, very promising field of people who do a lot of things. A lot of people in fields like machine learning, people in artificial intelligence, a lot of people in crypto as well. Yeah, it's a very big emerging field.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of my role models are people whose work I look at and they make me want to do more.
Wow. So where do you see yourself in after this? I would say after uni. Okay, after school. Where do you see yourself in this industry of tech?
The short answer would be somewhere like Google or NASA. I know they are watching. But no, the more accurate answer would be I want to continue improving. Whether it's getting a master's, going abroad to do something of the sort, or developing something on my own, something like a framework or library, something that a lot of people can benefit from. Because what I forgot to mention in my role model is I like those stories when someone sits down and just comes up with something cool and everyone likes to use it. I mean, all programmers have heard of the man, the myth, the legend, Linus Torvalds, the developer of the Linux OS. He's done so many great things. People have done so many great things with operating system. A lot of the world depends on it right now, but to think that someone could just sit down in their garage, come up with a whole version control system and then an operating system with his friends who are collaborating with him is just insane. No one thought of it was possible. But a lot of other people have done that as well. People develop new libraries and frameworks every day. And whenever I get some free time, I also think about it. I'm like, I should sit down, draw up a framework for this, make up a library for this, because there's a lot of gaps for that. A lot of libraries are needed and people like contributing to those types of projects. So besides the whole optimistic dream of working somewhere big, I really want to have a big contribution to society in the next 5 years or so to come. Let it be an open source framework that's really pivotal. It be me contributing to a framework that's already famous, but doing some good work there. Could it be even just inspiring younger people to rise up and do more with their skills? Because a lot of people just sit on their skills. But yeah, basically that.
Oh wow! So very, very interesting. So you're going to tell me about some of the hardest moments that really taught you that more in life. Generally, it could be in tech or generally in life. Some of that very hardest moment that really taught you a lot.
Okay. Yeah, one of my hardest moments was actually teaching myself a lot of the things that I know. It was not hard because learning is hard. Learning will always be hard. So learning involved a lot of confusion. I'm young but I'm scared, so I don't want to do a lot of things and then move forward and not understand what's going on. I want to be in full control of what's happening. So I'm moving slowly, but at the same time I'm still messing up regardless because it's so easy to mess up. And I was learning on a very, very slow computer, so I'll have to say that one of my hardest times because I don't know what kept taking me back to that room every day. Keep learning, keep trying new things. Even when there are errors, you could spend a whole 3 days trying to fix an error, but mostly because you have no experience yet, so you don't know how these things work. Another really hard time was still for that school competition thing. It was hectic. I used to put in a night shift after class, after night prep. I would go to the library, the school computer lab. So yeah, we had a computer set up with that environment. I would sit there until around 2 a.m., sometimes 3. I would leave, then my counterpart would come at around 4 or 3:30 a.m. So you take morning shifts. But it was hard. It was hard sleeping at 2 and waking up at 5 or 4:30, to go for prep. It was starting easy. And of course at uni had a lot of hard experiences. There was times when you're feeling the squeeze. This semester I can testify we've done a lot of challenging things in a short period of time. I'll credit the lecturer for making us highly productive because that's called productivity. You can do a lot in a short span of time. You're very productive.
Exactly.
But it really squeezes out.
Stretches you.
It stretches you. It compresses you and confines in that little box. That's all you can do. That's all you can think of. And eventually, this thing becomes hard. You don't want to focus on that all the time. You have to do other things in your life. But that's all you can do. That's all you know. So those are some of the really, really hard things I really had to go through. I know it's not a touching story, but
it's the process of learning, of course.
The process of learning is so hard.
Yeah, starting. You didn't have any teacher who could really supervise you and show you what you could learn and what you could. Yeah. So, wow. So, what are some of the projects? Are you working on any projects currently right now? Do you have any projects?
Yeah. I'm always working on projects. So.
Yeah. What is one of your current projects that you're working on?
Currently, it's mostly all for school. We did, a couple machine learning models. Proud to say that I did that. My group did out of heavy lifting, but I was there. Yeah. Then the app we're building, it's not exactly a complicated project, but it's there. Then I've been wanting to try out a couple of different challenges. I was supposed to sign up for a hackathon, but school got in the way of that so quickly. Yeah. Then there's another thing, it's called Y Combinator. I really don't know what it's about, but we're still in March. Yeah, it's due end of March for submission of ideas. It's something about making a project that is programmatically exciting. So it's not exactly like a revolutionary new app or something. Just something a programmer would love to take part in. Something that can be contributed to open source or something. Yeah, it's something I want to try. But now I tried something of that sort. Then of course where I currently work and in a website there. I guess I can also mention that.
Yeah, you're working mad. How do you juggle all this, education and work?
It's tricky. Now, working remote is nice because you work when you want. Issue with it is now there are certain times when school is on your neck and it's tagged.
They collide.
It tagged in with work and both of them are struggling at the same time. Now, my work is objectively easy. It's nothing as complicated as the machine learning I was doing at school, or even the app I'm building and carving. It's not that complicated. But certain things require you to sit down and think for hours, even if it's simple work. You sit down, you want to do it perfectly, of course. You want to maintain a certain level of quality in your work. So you're going to sit down for hours, you're going to ponder, think about different alternatives, how to do this, how to do that, what is the best outlook for the component I'm building, what the thing I'm going to push. They like it, it comes out they didn't like it, you have to revert back to the old one and they think of a new one because they still need the new one. It will require some hours out of your day and some days out of your week. But those are the same days out of your week that school wants to eat you up. So how I balance it is I will set up just the tasks I have to do for that day. I won't follow it strictly to the to the dot, but I'll try. I'll do schoolwork up to some extent. I'll stop there. I'll devote some hours of the day to, catching up with things I have to do for work or my other projects, because sometimes they also come calling. A couple of other smaller websites and whatnot that I haven't mentioned, but they're there as projects. So it's not easy to balance. You have to find a way to juggle these things. You find the hot zones for work and make sure they don't collide with the hot zones for school.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you can balance. But then at the end of that, you will get burnt out or tired.
Exactly.
So at a certain point, you have to realize, you have to recognize when you're taking too much on you feel like your head is on fire. It's now smoking. That's when you calm down, relax, take it a little easy.
So really, they have certain things we know about tech guys. Tech guys, you like those Frankenstein and those scientists who are really so weird. They are so weird. They are always isolated. They are alone. They are weird. Of course, weird. What do I mean? They spend most of the time. They are introverts, I would say. They spend most of their time alone, and the people I've seen doing tech, they had their also gadgets. Their watches are different, their phones are really different. They do a lot of unique, distinct things. They discover a lot of them apps and what. So what do you have to say about the the way tech guys are in regards to personality?
Well, a tech guy has two personalities that encompass all the others. My favorite one, I hate to say they encapsulate the other personalities. The first personality is, when they are normal, when they are happy. I guess I'm in that one right now. Don't have any pressing issue that's on my mind at the moment. So that time my mind is freer to be more socially active, to go out a little more, maybe touch some grass. You can spend 3 days without seeing grass. If you're doing a lot of tech, you can believe me on that. Anyway, it allows you to be more outgoing as a person. Then there's that other second mode where things go dark, and that's unfortunately the one we are infamous for. You meet a guy, he's wearing a hoodie, he's seated down looking at his PC and his hands are not resting. Of course, that's a cliche. You can't code like that and not stop to think. Things just refuse on you. You start looking in confusion and maybe even horror. But now when you're in that mode, your mind is objective. Whatever you do, you'll be focused on one thing. I'm going to leave here, I'm going to go back to my PC after 2 minutes and look at it again for another 2 hours. If I get interrupted by something comes, I'm going to go out again and make sure I'm back in the shortest amount of time. So that just automatically kills anything social you could have done. All your hopes of having a social life die. And I've seen it happen a lot with me, with my friends. It just happens. You don't
intend to do it.
Yeah, you're not born like that. You just live long enough to see yourself become a villain. You start embroidening that tech guy image. Of course, you won't be wearing those hoodies and being in dark corners. You actually need light to see what you're doing.
Exactly.
You're going to want to hide yourself. You don't want to talk to people because the time you're using to talk to someone, you could have used it to prompt AI to try a different iteration for your app for something that has failed, or you would have thought of a different strategy to approach the problem, and now you can't because you feel like you're being distracted. Just that 1 second of human interaction. Yeah, I've seen people who spend more time with their PCs than actual people.
Wow.
I've actually been that person who spends more time with his PC than actual people sometimes, and it's not very nice because
Are you an introvert?
When I'm doing that, I'm an introvert.
You're mixed, yeah?
Yeah, that's why I said you have 2 modes. There's some people who stay in mode 1 a lot of the time, who are fully introverts. They'll always be coding. They're not socially awkward, but you're not going to find them outside a lot. You'll always find him with his computer sitting down, quiet. Some are extroverts. He can do a lot outside. He will still switch back into that introvert mode for some time, but he won't last there. He'll get bored. He'll come out, he'll go and do things, and maybe come back later, but
this is his normal life, his or her normal life.
Yeah.
So, and another question is, okay, let me first ask this. How do you see, we see a lot of the male gender intake. The female gender is so less. What do you think about that?
Well, what I can say is, just like in any other field that has been previously male dominated, tech has had a lot of affirmative action going on in the past. You'll see women getting more opportunities than men, but what you're saying still comes about because men are more likely to be more tech oriented. And I'm not saying this like it's a bad thing, or that I made research, but you can always look at the class. You can always ask who wants to go and do this. It involves code, it's for extra credit. 9 out of 10 of those people are going to be boys. And maybe it's just how boys are wired, because females have a lot of other fields where they dominate too. But
exactly.
tech-wise, when things get highly technical, you're more likely to meet a dude on the other end of that PC rather than a female. But when you do find a female, it's actually absolutely insane, because the very first programming language, or very first notable programming language that was ever made was made by a woman.
Oh.
Yeah, Ada Lovelace. She made the very first programming language. I don't know if this is 100% true, but she might have also written code that sent people to the moon. So there is that. And back then, people used to code with books. Look at the thing here. Go and configure your machine here, because you didn't have PCs. It was the 1960s when that happened. So, women are very important in the tech field. There are a couple of other important libraries and innovations that women are heavily involved in. Recently at PyCon, the lady who was speaking to us, but online, she's based in the US. She built she's behind an important library called Jupyter. It's so important for scientific applications. I can't really explain it without going into technical things, but it helps you write better code for scientific applications. So finding out that she did it, and she's just a normal person like the rest of us, was just blew my mind, because Jupyter is so important. It's used almost everywhere in the world of data science, machine learning, and anything scientific related. You can't not use Jupyter. It became the industry standard. So I can say that women in tech have a very, very thriving future. It's just it takes a little more commitment to do a lot of things in tech, and a lot of people give up early when things get highly technical. Then a lot of girls don't want to do a lot of technical things, but women have done amazing things in tech.
Okay, but it's just this sector is male dominated.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do besides tech?
Well, outside tech, I used to write poem novels, but
you do write. It's one of my field also.
yeah, I used to write a lot, but not a lot these days. There's
What
some
do you,
things
what
tech
did you write
kills you.
about?
I used to write novels, like no more fiction stories and whatnot. I used to write them on an app called Wattpad back in the day. But the more I started doing, the more programming I started doing, the more my writing side died. Same with my reading side, which is sad because I used to read a lot of novels as well. But then currently outside tech, I'll do sports. I catch up with a lot of sports, especially basketball. I like playing basketball. I play some football, but mostly on FIFA. In real life, no. Thank you. But yeah, I play a lot of video games. I mean, you can't spend that much time with a computer and not want to continue using it. So yeah, that's mostly what I do outside tech.
So how do you see a computer to you? What is your affection with how can I say that? How much do you really love computers?
Well,
What do you see them? You have different perspectives. You see something.
You know how your mechanic looks at a car and he sees something different. You'll see I have to put the key in and go. He will see something completely different. You'll see a 1.8 liter V6, maybe it's turbocharged or whatever modification you want to do to your car. Now, when I look at a computer, I'm not just going to see a place I can do my Word documents on, obviously. Coding makes you look at it a whole different way. Then coding while learning computer science or any other tech-related field makes you think completely different about a computer. At certain points in times, I used to move with a screwdriver, a tiny screwdriver, for just in case I ever needed to open my PC from there, or in case someone needed a PC repaired from there. The funny thing is, one time someone actually did need that PC to be looked at. Now, I couldn't fix it that time, but I could diagnose the issue. Yeah. So when I look at a computer, I have a heavy affection for computers and computing in general. So I'll look at it, I'll see an operating system doing its job, I'll see technological architecture under the hood, in the chip, in the other peripherals that the computer has. I'll see a lot of engineering work going into getting a task that used to be done by a machine that couldn't fit on this chair and is now in my wrist. Actually can do a lot of things. So knowing how they work at an intricate level makes me appreciate how they are built more. Makes me see things differently.
What is the most I would say social media platform you use most, and your favorite one, and why?
It's a tight race. It's a tight race. X is fighting with Quora. I spend more time on X, but I learn more from Quora. I mean, there's also YouTube.
Quora, what's Quora?
Oh yeah, Quora. It's a social media site where people just ask questions about anything, and they get answers from like professionals and whatnot. So it's like a question answer place. So a lot of the things that I know about some of the tech that I use, or how things work in the tech world, it's mostly through those emails Cora sends me, or when I open the app and go through my feed. But I'll just give it to X. I spend a lot of time on X.
X is your favorite.
Yeah, I'll give it to X. I mean, I use WhatsApp a lot more than
Right.
X. But X has a mixture of the things I like, because you build your algorithm. X has it has basketball. I follow a lot of NBA and some of the NBL here in Uganda when I can. Then it will also have funny things, memes and everything, whatever is trending, moving on.
You're a
at the
memer.
moment. Definitely, with one heart.
You
Yeah.
need to tell us about that one. Actually, I see you a lot posting very funny memes, and how is memes, and like how does it work? And it's one of your hobbies, right?
Yeah, I can say it's one of my hobbies. Sometimes I actively open apps looking for memes.
People do not take it serious, so we take it now as serious. How can I even say it? Serious sector? Serious?
We can't call it a sector.
Entertained.
We're not that serious. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
Of course,
So how is it?
Well, of course, you can't go out and have a concert just for memes. But it was there, guys, I'll be a rich man. Other than that, I've liked memes since I was very young. Like, I used to see my bro laughing at memes on Facebook, and I'm like, where does this guy get these things? So now I look at the account he's following, and I'm like, let me also go follow his accounts. They look funny. So I'll spend hours on Facebook just scrolling on memes, only memes.
What is your favorite? Who is your favorite member?
Favorite memer. Favorite memer. There's so many legendary memes out there. I mean, shout out to Simon Jalakagwa, because top G.
Wow. So do you also create memes?
Yeah, so from time to time. Sometimes I create very specific memes or inside jokes for, like, say, for class, people around me. Then there are times I just create a general meme, like
You can
something
get
could be
serious with
trending
memes and make it something bigger.
Memes are they're up there with crypto in confusing people.
Yeah, by the way.
They shift
by the
so
way.
quickly.
Yeah. So what is your favorite meme?
My favorite meme.
One of your funniest.
One of my funniest. Yeah, I'm still going to shout out the "Why Are You Gay" video. That thing. the fact that it's a meme and it's funny is one thing, but that thing transcended borders. It made everyone laugh. It's really moved.
Then of course the creator even didn't intend to.
Exactly.
Call
it
it by
was
surprise.
natural. It was in a moment. It wasn't made by someone with the intention of, I'm going to make
I
people
want to
laugh.
trade. Yeah.
It was pure passion, and of course hatred, but pure passion for that job. So it's one of my favorite memes. Then the recent memes with the minister and all that. Colleagues, money. It's been on my mind for days, but those are up there for me.
Okay, so you will tell us the hobbies you have, the NBA video games and memes. That's how you spend your leisure.
Oh yeah, I also spend it sometimes playing basketball, but it's been a while. Then, my free time when I'm not coding, because it's when I have free time and I'm using it to code, a leisure activity. Not recommended though. Sometimes it refuses. But yeah, there's also the normal things. You sit down, you watch a movie, watch a series, but I'm so bad with those ones. I'll watch one episode of a series and come back after 2 weeks or even a month. And I blame it on coding, man. You watch, then something will happen and it requires your attention for the next 6 hours. Then you won't even remember what you were doing afterwards. That you'll just sleep.
Exactly, yeah.
So in my leisure time it's going to be like basketball, video games, going to be a lot of memes as well. I forgot to talk about Instagram Reels.
Yeah,
nice.
there's the accuracy of
that algorithm was trained well.
Yeah.
Algorithm was trained
Wow.
very well.
So it has been an amazing time with Julian, and I want you to really tell some, people have been asking me, and what I'm doing currently. I'm doing networking, and I've fallen in love with tech, and I'm a beginner, and I know I will reach you very soon.
You can try.
But anyways, there's a girl I think who was telling me that she was interested in tech, and I really didn't have the very exact advice to give her because I wasn't much. But what I know, tech, it's one of the most profound and very its own market. Yeah, everything involves tech. So what can you give to some of the people who are not yet joined uni and they're still figuring out what to do, and they do not know, and what can you tell them about this course and where tech is going?
Well, one thing I have to say is that it's going to need devotion entering tech at any stage in life, or any iteration of tech you're joining. Because people who joined tech back in 2005, you know, the trends are different from us who joined tech in the early 2020s. I'll say early 2020s because most of us are now learning computer science, so whatnot. So tech is very rewarding if you're devoted. If you're going to put in the hours, you're going to sit down and cry, maybe even pray for your things to work. You're going to spend the time learning, relearning new things, maybe unlearning bad habits that you had from the past. It's going to be very rewarding for you. One thing I forgot to mention though in the challenge is, I won't say it's the most challenging point of my life, but with tech you start feeling imposter syndrome. You know, when you feel like you're not doing much or you're not doing enough.
Exactly.
You look at the thing you've done and you're like, what is this? I'm a fraud. I'm not worth all the praise they give me. And that's mostly because a lot of people do a lot of cool things with tech. You will learn a new language today and you'll be very proud of yourself. Your 10-year-old nephew will learn the same language and not even be happy because he wants to learn more. And you'll be like, so what am I exactly doing with my life?
Yeah.
So it's really you to be devoted to that cause. Because there's still things you can do that your 10-year-old nephew can't do. I mean, you definitely can't get a job, but you can learn and go get a job. So tech really has a lot of devotion like any other field, but more importantly, so it has a lot of, you have to be updated with the trends. It's very, very rewarding the more updated you are with the trends. It's very discerning to be in tech, to be an expert, but to not update yourself, because
Exactly, yeah.
people's requirements are going to change. You know, back in the day you could be praised for just being able to do the website. Now we even have tools that build websites for people.
Yeah, now it's not alarming.
Not alarming. People will still hire you to build a website, definitely. People will still pay you to teach them how to build websites, because there's still a need for that. But it's not going to be a standout. It's not as astounding as it was
Exactly.
10, 20 years ago. You know, people, leaders are going to look at you and they say, oh, what are you doing with your time? And you're like, yeah, I'm learning AI, I'm learning, big data, I'm doing data analytics or data science. And you're going to sound pretty cool. You're going to be like, okay, I've heard of AI, I've heard of big data and data science. I'm pretty sure those are the things that guys at OpenAI do or something of that sort. So it's going to sound cool. It's the current trend right now. Later there could be a different trend.
Exactly.
We won't always be on AI and big data. We won't always be on data science. I mean, they've been relevant for a long while, and so are web dev and other things. But then, at a certain point, new eras of tech come out. You know, there are certain eras of tech where a programmer was more valuable than an actual scientist. Because to program a computer, you needed to know the intricate details of how the CPU works. You needed to know how its assembly is compiled. The language is called assembly. It's different for every machine running a different chipset or architecture. So you can't learn assembly and use it on an Intel computer and it's the same language for a MacBook. It's different. It will be different. But you know, back then, knowing that was you're guaranteed to get a job almost anywhere. NASA needed people who could make a computer work. People were astounded by you being able to make a computer do your bidding. And right now we have children who can operate iPads. So you know, you can't stand out by I can program.
You keep on updating.
You have to keep on updating yourself.
Well, I like the being genuine. You know, one of the comedians were saying that he was taken to a school, to give a word to them of, sort of career guidance. And he told them that not everyone is going to make it in life. So the people at the back were really telling him, you should stop time. He was true to them. So I like the way you were really true to that point. Of course, not so like the comedian who told the people there. So, and that it needs devotion. It's not a matter of going to take. It's need really devotion. And you tell me some of the achievements you really have gotten in this field.
Well,
the rewards.
Well, I'm going to just start from that. Maybe I've been mentioning this story, but I'm pretty proud of it. Yeah, that competition 109 Form 6, one of the most rewarding moments of my life. Yeah. Then a couple of accolades here and there, a couple in Google Cloud project, but those are just for learning and within. Then a couple of them also been computer science related, being able to program very well, get you a couple of plaudits from a couple of I'll say industry professionals who get to know about you. Yeah. Then any other notable awards? I mean, I have a diploma in machine learning, but we all do. We had to go and learn it.
Oh, diploma.
But at the moment, I'm fighting hard for that bachelor's degree.
A first class.
It
will come.
It will come. Colleagues. God's name.
Colleagues. Wow, so it has to come. Yeah, we see the journey. The people who tell you that the first class, but we can really see that. Yeah, and we have. Me personally, I'm inspired, and the faith I have in you. Thank you. So, what can you leave with us? Anything you don't want to leave out?
Anything I don't want to leave out.
The Luganda, they call it akatale keka.
Akatale keka one. Nina is I'll go back to that one point of things go down to luck. So, if you're starting a tech journey, starting an accounting journey, starting a journey in something else, journey in something you used to love, trying to relearn something, just keep doing it, just keep going. I'm not a motivational speaker, but I can say something fair about how rewarding it is when you finally get what you want. It eventually comes, but put out your faith in God and pray about it.